Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel for what promises to be a very special video indeed. On Sunday, on live stream, we took the 7-star version of Crossbones all the way from rank 2 to rank 4, and since then I have been across the contest recording some insane footage of this absolute monster. I'm not even the best Crossbones player in the world, and even I can get results. He is everything I expected him to be and so much more. Stick around until the end if you want to see one of the most disgusting Battlegrounds fights I think you'll ever see. I hope this is going to be a good one. It certainly feels like it. Let's get into it. Alrighty, if I make it through this recording alive, it'll be a miracle. I am so dead. Anyway, a bit of a disclaimer before I get into this. I will always be completely straight with you when I'm using the Taskmaster or the MCOC synergy. These synergies are obviously exceptionally powerful, extending the duration of his Furies and allowing him to gain more Furies every time he enters Overrun. They make him a lot better, but these champions on their own are not particularly brilliant, right? They feel a lot like luggage, they don't add an awful lot to their team, they're not really able to hold their own, unless you're exceptionally skilled or you're in a very particular scenario. So in Act content, I'm not going to be running them. You'll only be seeing these synergies in Everest content that I felt I kind of had to showcase in this video. As for the rest of it, it's just going to be Crossbones and Crossbones on his own. And as Crossbones absolutely murders ex-Starlord, I want to dig into some things I'm going to talk about in this video, and that is that I was recently watching one of my favourite MCOC YouTubers, Vega, and he recently had a debate on his channel. Should he take up Cheat or Crossbones to rank 4? And he eventually settled on Cheat. Now, Cheat is brilliant. I had no intention of taking Cheat to rank 4, but there was some reasons from the MCOC Illuminati as to why one would not take up Crossbones to rank 4, and I kind of want to talk about those a little bit in this video, because obviously the Illuminati are just infinitely better at this than I am, but I don't think I was entirely convinced by all of them. And as Starlord is nearly dead in the time I've been yapping, that was 160k heavy attack. This SP1 is going to hit for 180k. And yes, Starlord's going to go down in just under 90 seconds, which I believe is faster than rank 4 Deathless Thanos could do that fight. So that's illegal. I also had to include this X-Thing fight, because if you don't, you go to prison. In any sort of Crossbones showcase, I believe it is mandatory that you show this fight just for bullying purposes. But the first objection, not really an objection, but the first reason why one might not rank 4 Crossbones is because he's only really a beefed up version of the rank 3. That he is actually no different from just a rank 3 with just 2 more Furies. That felt slightly misleading to me. I think that's very, very reductive, and it barely scratches the surface of what the rank 4 Crossbones brings to the table. Because remember, that's true. That claim is true in terms of attack rating and nothing else. Right? Remember, the size of each of those Furies is going to go up. Your crit rate's going to go up. Your block proficiency is going to go up. Your health pool goes up. And overall, when you play a champion like Crossbones with such a high skill cap, these things matter. And if you're a scrub like me, who isn't the perfect Crossbones player, and you still want to rank him, having him at rank 4 is infinitely useful. Right? Because it doesn't really matter what I do. Yes, I have to play vaguely coherently, but if I don't, then the power of the rank 4 is going to save my ass, and you can guarantee that I'm going to be able to finish the fight somewhat respectably. If you want to bait heavies, then his block proficiency is higher, his health pool is higher. In Battlegrounds, if you're in a fight where you can't easily punish the opponent's specials, just bait the heavy, punish the heavy with a heavy attack, and you'll be right on your way. He allows you to screw up if you have him at rank 4 and still survive. That is really useful when you're playing a champion who is as tough to play as Crossbones. He gives him this sort of accessible damage even to those who really don't know what they're doing, like moi. And that's a really nice touch. That's a great touch for me. And I'm just grateful for it every time I go into a fight and I'm like, I don't know how this is going to go. And he kind of just handles it. And yeah, and another reason why one might not rank up Crossbones is because his debuff shrug is not quite as reliable as perhaps other options, perhaps options who adopt the cleanse mechanic. My Crossbones is Sig 90 currently, I believe 91. Or is he 90? That might be a complete lie. I have no idea. I think he's Sig 90. And at Sig 200, he gains a 90% chance to shrug all incoming debuffs. At Sig 90, I believe it's just over 60%. But the criticism that was mentioned in Vega's video was that if you were taking, for example, a Hazard Shift Void, very punishing note, in Alliance War, then that would actually chip down at your health if you're not using a champion who is going to guarantee to shrug those debuffs. Now, this is a very good point, and it illustrates the strength of the cleanse mechanic. It is a brilliant mechanic. It is very, very powerful. 100% chance to get rid of it if your champion has reliable access to that cleanse. But last time I checked, if you allow even like a Sig 90 Crossbones to be chipped down by Void's debuff damage before you absolutely murder whatever is in front of you, you're doing something wrong. Last time I checked, Crossbones has one of the highest damage outputs in the entire game. I'll talk about that in a second. If that fight is going on long enough that he's not already dead by the time he starts doing serious damage, I don't know what to tell you. You're not doing it right. Because Crossbones' damage, like, we're about to take Titania to 50% health, and this is going to illustrate my next point really, really easily. He hits so hard that the numbers stop meaning anything. They stop making sense, right? You know, in those like universe size comparison videos, I don't know how many of my viewers are going to have seen those, but like when you start getting to like the biggest suns and the biggest black holes in the universe, like they can give you the diameter, they can give you the size. It stops making sense past a certain point. It stops meaning anything because the human brain is only really meant to comprehend a certain amount. There's only so much we need to deal with day to day, right? But past a certain point, it just doesn't mean anything. That is the point we've reached with the rank 4 version of Crossbones. You're going to see here, my combos against X-Titania are going to be like 500,000. It doesn't matter. I could say that he hits for 2 million a combo. It doesn't matter, right? Because when we talk about champions and their damage, normally it's in reference to some sort of target, as I get absolutely smacked. I was only doing one fight, so I didn't really care about losing health. But it's normally in reference to some sort of target or some sort of scenario, say Battlegrounds Act content, and you know roughly how much damage comes out of one loop, or how much to expect from a special attack in what scenario. Against Crossbones, there is no frame of reference. There's nothing, or very few champs. Probably the only champ that can come even close is the OG version of Storm, with the Apocalypse synergy. And there's just nothing to compare it to, right? It doesn't matter. If I say that he hits for 500,000 a combo with the damage cap, like, with the damage cap, it doesn't matter what I say. I could say that he hits for 8 cows. Really? It doesn't matter because the fight's dead. Any fight is dead, right? The numbers stop meaning anything. They get so high. And that leads me on to some act showcasing in this video. This is from, I believe, halfway through Act 8, Act 8.3, Act 8.2, I don't know. And I thought at the time that this would be a good idea, because I just thought, hey, I need to do some Act content. This will be sensible. In hindsight, it really wasn't very fair. Each of these fights has about 500,000 health, so well more than any sort of Battlegrounds fight, bar maybe a rank 4 version of Sasquatch. And you can see, it doesn't matter. How fast did that Doc Ock go down if the internet loads? 37 seconds. Yeah, 37 seconds. Sorry, I'm going to sniffle a lot in this video. It just wasn't fair. I might have misjudged this slightly, but you are going to see him in some later Act 9 content on a lane that takes away 60% of the damage you deal without debuffs. He doesn't have any debuffs, or not many anyway. I don't throw the SP2. And you're going to see, don't worry, we're going to get a lot better footage of his raw damage output and act content than this. We're also going to take a boss fight after this lane. This is, I don't know. I leave it in because it just goes to show how pathetic he just makes ordinary content, right? I'm going in here with no synergies, no boosts, no suicides. I'm not trappy, okay? I hate to break it to you, lads. I'm not trappy. I may be British, I may play MCOC, I'm not trappy. I'm not the best Crossbones player in the world. It doesn't matter. Class disadvantage less than 40 seconds. Right? It doesn't matter. And you're going to see in this Guardian fight, I'm going to cock up because I'm a scrub and I don't really know what I'm doing. And it's not going to matter. 600,000 health. Let's play it. Right? I'm going to lose my Furies in this fight. I'm going to act like a complete scrub. And Crossbones, in a way that the rank 3 obviously would be able to do, but in a way that the rank 4 does much better, he's going to pick me up. And he's going to say, okay, you're not all that good at the game, but I am. So, trust in me, I'll get you to the finish line respectably. Okay, like there, I miss the heavy punish, I lose 5 Furies, I'm down to 3, my damage output's gone. If you're playing a 6-star version of Crossbones, this is where you throw yourself out of a window. If you're playing the 7-star version of Crossbones at rank 4, the fight's only just beginning. Chuck off the SB3. I like chucking off the SB3 because it gives me a break. Just gives me a short interlude and I can hit that skip button whenever I want. Because again, I'm not the best player in the world. Sometimes I need a rest when this guy has such a high skill cap. It's nice just to take a moment and then come back in with increased crit rate. It's really underrated in my opinion. SB3 is certainly useful, but here, activating overrun, I'm back up to 14 Furies, and even with Guardian's sizable armor up, that heavy attack is doing 32k. This combo's going to kill him. Or we're just going to go into another SB3. Yeah, the SB3 is certainly going to kill him. Look how ludicrously hard we're hitting. That was 70 seconds, and yeah, or 80 seconds roughly, but still, 600,000 health in 80 seconds. When you mess up, not all that bad. I'll take it. Remember, I'm going to go through the entire of this quest itemless, just using Crossbones, no Mangog, no Taskmaster to be seen, no suicides, no boosts to be seen. I get a bit lucky here, he throws a full combo with a light to enter Swashbuckling, and yeah, I mean, the fight's over. Class disadvantage, it really doesn't matter. Something I'm noticing taking Crossbones into story content, especially later story content where relics and strikers gained a lot more relevance, is that as these mechanics became more important, you were given an increased spirit rate. So you reached your striker very, very quickly. And this actually gives Crossbones lots of openings to throw his heavy. Like, it's really, really easy. I can just throw a combo, I'll probably have enough to throw a heavy, which just boosts him to an entirely new level. It makes him so much easier to use in these questing scenarios. And I'm going to show, this quest, and the entire of this quest. I'm going to go through a boss fight, and then I'm going to show you one in 9.1. In fact, I'm going to show you probably the hardest path in 9.1.6. It's the left-hand path. It's the one that you do 60% less damage unless you have like 3 debuffs active, and it applies a Tranquilize to you, so you don't apply any debuffs. And at the end is a Rochi. We don't do a Rochi, but we do the path. And at the end of that path is a 900,000 health void. So what that's going to simulate is essentially a 900,000 health void that applies debuffs to you other than his personal debuffs with 60% damage reduction, and he's going to take it like no sweat. It's fine. I can play like a shitbag and it's okay. I'll survive. Right. That is what I'm talking about here. Because even with 60% damage reduction, again, the numbers don't mean anything. Again, you can put a million health, you can put 200,000, you can put 200 million. Again, it's fine. Because the answer is Crossbones. And the answer is just to do exactly the same thing as you always do. And eventually, you'll be hitting for 500 per trillion health per combo. And it's just beyond human comprehension. You need to... You can witness it here, but you really need to feel it to believe it, right? And you can see here, I can just throw off the striker, and I'm going to go for a heavy, and really, really easy to do. I believe in this fight, actually, we're going to be shutting off the ability accuracy of his Unstoppable, which is really nice against Black Panther. And you've seen in this quest, I've taken heroes, I've taken villains, I've taken champions with easily punishable special attacks, I've taken champions with special attacks that are not easily punishable, class advantage, disadvantage, neutral class relationship. They're all dying. Like, that Black Panther fight had 600,000 health. Not anymore. 38 seconds. In hindsight, this was a little bit unfair. At the time, it felt like a good idea. But yeah, maybe shouldn't have given him the short burst lockdown node. That might have been a bit too easy. Talking of too easy, should I take A, the really easy science fight, the really one that's obviously tuned towards Crossbones? Should I take B, the null fight, which will apply 1 billion debuffs to me so I get 1 billion Furies? Or should I take C, the one that I really shouldn't be taking with Crossbones because he has window of opportunity stun, no obvious special attacks to heavy counter, no debuffs, and he's a villain? Should I do that one? Yes, I think I should do that one. That sounds better for the showcase. Oh, by the way, he has 900,000 health. And we're just going to go in. No hesitation. I barely read those notes. I don't even know what's in this fight. But yeah, we're going to get into it. Because why not? We're going to use the increased spirit rate to get our openings. We're going to use Crossbones' stupid power, the increased block proficiency to bait those heavies, to pause all our furies, and we're going to melt this man before you can say Venom Pool does not matter. Okay, maybe a little bit slower than that. But yeah, baiting another heavy, chucking off our heavy, now going hammering back in after his SP1, throwing a full combo into the relic. Really easy to pause. Bang, done there. SP2, hammer back in. He's going to gain his power gain, but that's okay. Remember, I can't parry. There's no easy way of doing this. Got to rely on the relic stun. And there we go. Here, I believe... Do I get smacked? Yeah, I run straight into his SP2, but we shrug the stun. Remember, even at Sig 90, it's like a 60% chance to shrug all the debuffs. Yes, he will be gaining all the Sigs for me from now on, but until then, it's reliable enough that he's going to survive long enough to end the fight, because, I mean, that was a 60k heavy. Like, what's he not going to survive? But okay, alright, my obvious oversight there, that 500,000 to 600k to 900k health pools are obviously not good enough for him. So I found something else. I found 9.1.6. This is as bad as it gets in act content, right? But that's not strictly true. Technically, it is the quote-unquote hardest because it's the last one. It's not actually the hardest. That one still goes to the collector in my book. But this is as big as bad as it gets. This is the biggest... I'm losing the words here. This is the hardest? No, the last. I'm just going to go with last. This is the last piece of act content in the game currently before 9.2 gets released. And it has some very fun nodes. I remember going through this for exploration and crying my heart out. Anyway, every time the opponent throws a special attack, they apply a tranquilize to you, reducing the ability accuracy of your debuffs. Fun fact, you need debuffs to deal damage. If you have no debuffs, you deal 60% less damage. Keep that number in mind. I'm not going to throw the SB2 in any of these fights. I'm just not. Just to prove a point. Any numbers you see now, 60% less than they could be. 115k. 60% less. 46k heavy, 60% less. Yeah? Gonna charge overrun again. 23 Furies. 19k medium. 60% less. Are you starting to see where I'm going, right? This She-Hulk had like 800, 900,000 health. 60% less damage? Technically, she has well over 1 million. And look how far she's going down. 1 minute, 4 seconds. Have you seen anything even close to that? I haven't. Not from Deathless Thanos, not from Hulkling, not from, heck, not even from CGR. I haven't seen, you know, this level of just complete insanity. Okay, CGR probably someone has. Someone like Slayer of Gods probably has. But even so, like, look, yeah, as Thorn Jane Foster does her ridiculous inhuman stand-up time. Anyway, it just gets to the point where I can no longer really describe the numbers. Like, I can say what comes up on the screen, but it doesn't really mean anything. because the fights are just over, and it doesn't matter what you put in front of him. They're just going to die. And you're going to see, after we work our way through this quest... Is she going to do it again? No, she's not. We're going to see some Battlegrounds fights that aren't even played particularly well. I get overexcited when I get to draft Crossbones and BGs because he's so often banned. I just get ahead of myself and I try something stupid whenever I actually get to play him. Ooh, they did it again there. We got lucky. And even then, you're going to see that he's just going to carry me to some just ridiculous wins. With not particularly impressive scores, but they're quite funny. Just because damage is damage. You know, in the end, damage is utility. Less than a minute, by the way. Damage is utility in this game. You know, if you can end the fight before the opponent ends you, then you've won the fight. I know that sounds obvious, but that's a fact. This sentry has 818,000 health. How does he fare? I bet it's going to be the same as all the others. He goes indestructible, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, in the end, damage is utility. And it doesn't really matter what you say about your champion being, oh, this champion has lots of control. Oh, this champion can do... It doesn't matter, because Crossbones is just going to hit harder and faster and better and whatever was in that bloody Daft Punk song. Anyway, I'm just going for SB3s in this quest. I became quite used to just using the SB3 as a bit of a break. I know that not everybody's going to need to do that. But it's quite helpful, you know, it's quite helpful. You just get the extra crit rate, and you can see I'm critting naturally quite a lot. And when it comes to me just pausing the heavies on my parries, more often than not, I'm not actually consuming a fury for doing that because I'm critting while I'm doing that. It's quite a significant crit rate increase, and yeah, remember, 60% less damage, 53k heavy. We're going to end this fight with his SB3. He's going to die. Remember, this guy had 818,000 health. He's already dead. He's already dead. That did 371,000 damage. You can see it in the top right. Remember, 60% less. Stupid. Stupid isn't the word. I don't have words. There are no words. It doesn't matter what you say. Again, the numbers stop meaning anything past a certain point because he hits so damn hard. I believe this Scarlet Witch might be a little bit messy. I think I start playing like an absolute scrub. But anyway, it's fine. It's fine because it's Crossbones. He's going to survive. I'm going to use... Yeah, I lose all my Furies there. I'm going to use the added benefit of him being at rank 4 to survive me being a complete scrub. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're ranking up a champion with an inherently high skill cap. It's useful to have a safety net. That safety net does not exist to the same extent at lower ranks. Right? When he's at rank 4, he becomes an entirely different beast. That's just a fact. So here against Scarlet Witch, absolutely not an ideal matchup. I think I only realized late on that if you dash in after the first hit of her SP1, you can technically heavy punish it. But it takes me a little bit too long to realize that, and I make my life unnecessarily harder. And you can see, I'm still hitting stupidly hard. It really doesn't matter. Like 15 Furies, I'm probably going to lose them all here. I charge the heavy, yeah, I go for the fancy style points to get it. I didn't get it. That's okay. And yeah, this fight's going to take a while. But again, like, okay, 63k, I've lost all my Furies. But that's fine. She's going to apply some more debuffs just here or there. I'm going to shrug off the majority of them as per my signature ability. Even if it's not Sig 200, it's fine. I'm going to get smacked again. Okay, I've only just below half health. And yeah, I know I'm mentioning really basic things. But these basic things, like increased block efficiency, like increased health, okay, now I realise, are more useful to a champion with a high skill cap like Crossbones. Because you notice them more, because you're more likely to cock up with a champion like Crossbones than with a champion like Luke Cage. Remember, 60% less damage. Once I finally worked out what the hell was going on, you can see how fast I went down. Absurd. I do not have words. I mean, you can invent a new word. In fact, I'm going to invent a new word right now. Quadophy. Right, Quadophy. That now represents the insanity that rank 4 Crossbones brings to the table. Quadophy. Okay, there we go, right. Every time I say the word Quadophy, you understand the feeling I'm trying to evoke in you. Quadophy. Okay, Venom. No way to punish this man's specials. He's not a hero, alright? Yes, I have that one debuff coming through in the form of the Tranquilize, but apart from that, this should not work as a matchup for Crossbones. In fact, I don't believe it's going to be the best showcase in the world, but it's still going to happen. Still going to be able to pause it here, still going to chuck off my SP3. I'm still dealing enormous damage. Remember, these guys all have over 800,000 health apiece, right? We're still in the end game of act content, you know. This is as big and as bad as they come, and yeah, he's going to get it down. He's going to get it down. He's going to be absolutely fine. Thank you very much. So punishing Venom's heavy. Now we're going to punish his special attack. We're going to go in. We're going to use the increased spirit rate to throw off a striker. Now into a heavy. You can see he really excels in this new act content. And now you can see I'm critting quite a lot. And I have over, 13 Furies now. That's 20k heavy. Remember, 60% less damage. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. Oh, 101k. Yeah, okay. GG's. GG's. Okay. On with a heavy, 42k. And, yeah, just insanity, really. Yeah, 53k. Yeah, I'm honestly, I might even, thinking about this again, I might even be turning off the ability accuracy of the damage reduction. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think he is. But if he is, I wouldn't be surprised, because he's hitting that hard. Goes down in less than 2 minutes. Honestly, in Act 9, with the health pools, the state that they are in, that's not even that bad. There are plenty of champions in my roster, when I went through this, completion, that couldn't finish the fights in less than 2 minutes. I'll take it for a non-ideal matchup. Just going in with no synergies, no boosts, no suicides, no nothing. I'll absolutely take it. This here is the fight I wanted to show. Void. Placing non-personal debuffs on you. 950,000 health. 60% damage reduction. Let's effing go. What's that about? Oh, well, he's going to die before you can end the fight. That's in an alliance war setting. With more debuffs coming your way, right? So that's a hazard shift setting that quote was describing. We're now only applying one debuff every time he throws a special. And yeah, some of them are going to stick. I had to apply a few health potions here, but it's not like I went in here with 100%, like you will be if you're going in against a Void in top tier war. You heal after every fight. I'm just going in with 50%. Again, I don't have any synergies. In top tier war, you're most likely going to be assigned Mangog as well. If you run Crossbones, but we don't have that. We don't have that run in here. I made that very clear at the beginning. I'm going to be very straight when I'm using that synergy. I ain't using that synergy now. Not that I really need to be straight. I mean, you've seen the team for the entire of the quest. But, if for whatever reason I was a cheeky bastard, as I lose the majority of my Furies, well, then you know. Then you know I'm just not running it. And yeah, look, I lost the majority of my Furies. I had 14. I went down to, 5 or something. And now I'm back up to 12. That special attack did 77k. Remember, 60% damage reduction. Right? What would that have done? I'm sure someone could do the quick maths. I can't be asked. It's 130. Right? Don't ask me to do maths at 130. But yeah, here, 18 Furies, 19 Furies, Relic Extended combo. He's going to go down. Damage is utility. Just over 90 seconds, 950,000 health, 60% damage reduction. I'm going to let that sink in. Let's get into some Battlegrounds. And I recognise that these fights are going to be showcasing him punching down quite a lot, but in my defence, it's quite difficult to get him out of the box at all with the rate he's getting banned in this meta, and also, he's a 7-star rank 4. There aren't many champions where it's going to be punching equal rank. Anyway, this is a Rintra. To those of you who don't know, yes, he can do this fight, and yes, it can be a bit smoother than this, because Rintra actually applies a neutralize to me. But the point is, your Fury shut off his defensive ability accuracy, which include his neutralize. So essentially, yeah, and he gets it again after just one hit, which is really, really frustrating. So yeah, this hasn't been the perfect start to this fight at all. But here, I'm going to bait out the SP1. Actually, no, I'm not going to charge overrun. And he's just not letting me charge overrun. But there we go. And look, I'm kind of in the puppy dog stage of playing Crossbones in Battlegrounds. I get really overexcited every time I get to play with my new toy. And every time I get that chance, I do something stupid and I don't use it properly. Which is, I understand, quite a funny analogy, but I think one that works quite well. As you can see, we're going to charge overrun, and despite this really rocky start against a, punching down against a Rintra, but Rintra's got a fat health pool anyway, and he's going to go down. 48,000, it's not game-breaking. It could have been done a lot better, and it will be done a lot better in the future. I'm going to get plenty more opportunities to do that fight, and Crossbones is going to come through for me, even against science options. And moving it on to a fight I bet you did not see coming. It's going to be a rank 3 version of Deathless Thanos. As we all know, Deathless Thanos is a bit peak on defense this meta, and indeed all metas. He's just a little bit broken, attack and defense, currently. And he's not a hero, so I'm not going to be gaining any sort of content bonuses when fighting this guy. I just thought I'd try it because I no longer care. And it was actually very close to perfect, this fight. I only cock up right at the end, which is unusual for me. Although I do normally cock up somewhere. But nice thing about this fight, really easy to punish his special attack. And it's really easy to push him to more special attacks with his Energize. And yeah, you can see that all I need to do is parry that final hit, and it's child's play. It's good stuff. And yeah, he triggers his protection, but it doesn't really matter, because I'm hitting so stupidly hard in between. And look, 21k! And yeah, here I don't parry it, I don't know why. And then here I'm going to throw off the SB3, we're going to push him below 50% health, and then we're going to bait out an SB2. I think where this fight went wrong a little bit is when I started baiting out SB2s, but here we're going to bait it out, get the unstoppable, we're going to charge up overrun, or we should have charged up overrun there. Yeah, that was daft, should have charged up overrun. But yeah, now I'm having to do stuff which isn't good, and am I going to do it here? No, I'm not. Yeah, but we're going to kill him. It doesn't matter, we're going to kill him. Yeah, it's fine. Deathless Thanos goes down. And, it's 47k. I think I messed up and I took some corrosion damage there on the last SP2, which brought my health down and therefore my score down a little bit. But as a kind of like a, no sweat sort of option, that pleasantly surprised me. And it was enough to win this round, so I'll certainly take it. Could certainly get 47.5, maybe 48k if the AI plays perfectly. Don't bait out the SB2, bait out the SB1s, and makes your life a hell of a lot easier. And last, but certainly not least, is a rank 6 Serpent. Now, I know I'm kind of bullying him here, but I promised you the most disgusting Battlegrounds fight you're ever going to see, and I think I follow through here. Oh my god, I want to end this recording so damn bad. Right, quick note before I go into this fight. I am not Andrew the Rough, so I don't play this perfectly. I do not know how to heavy punish Serpent's SB1. I just try it, and I get it right 2 times out of 3. And when I say 2 times out of 3, I mean that is the amount of times that I bait his SP1, because the fight is over so quickly. So here we're going to charge up overrun, and if you dodge out just at the last moment, then you can get around his undexable sort of mechanics. And here you can see just how stupidly hard Crossbones is hitting. And yeah. And here we're going to use the unstoppable to try and pause the Furies, but he crits, which hurts quite a lot, but I am going to get the SP1 dex there. He needs to be right at the last moment. But now we're going to chuck off the SB3, and I'll tell you what, this is going to end the fight. Bang! Lights out. 48 seconds. 48.5k. First time I've ever done that fight. I just went in and thought, to hell with it. Let's just go for it. See what happens. And that's what happens when you mess with the GOAT. Absolute madness. I cannot wait to actually get that fight down. Get it down to an art form. Because when I do, oh lord. Oh lord. We're going to see some insane numbers. And some insane scores. Crossbones beating out probably a few Mystic Champions. Even against 7-star Serpents once I get that fight down. And yeah, sorry this showcase, I'm not going to call it the ultimate showcase. I have been ill over these past few days, and that has kind of impacted my ability to make content. Ill and busy, not a great combination. But if you have made it this far, then thank you very much for watching. Look out for more rank 4 Crossbones footage on the channel. But that is just about it. So, bye-bye.